Hello, and welcome to the We Recommend podcast, a movie podcast where every week we recommend a movie for you to watch and then come back here and listen to us discuss. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
I swore 37 times in the last month. I said the F word a couple times, but it was mostly shits and bastards. Is douchebag a curse?
I suppose it depends on its usage.
How about John, you're a douchebag for kissing Barbara?
It's a curse.
Oh, well then it's not 37 times, it's 71 times. Because this week we recommend Signs.
So many douchebags.
So, I'm a big M. Night Shyamalan fan.
Sure.
His movies are weird and
So twisty.
are kind of not good.
No,
It's like the
interesting.
first four I love to death.
Oh, like Sixth Sense and
Sixth Sense, Unbreakable,
Oh, yeah.
Signs, and The Village. The Village is the one where people are like, hold up, what are you doing? You're messing things up. But like I kind of love that movie. That movie's got
it was cool.
hell like
Super
the acting's
different.
great. It's kind of like this where it's awkward. All his
Yes.
movies are kind of awkward.
Yeah.
And it's something that I kind of love. Makes me
Yeah,
feel good
it's
about myself.
No, it makes me feel terrible sometimes, especially like, why do you let a blind girl run out in the woods by herself? No, bad
Yeah,
people,
I know.
bad
That-
adults.
They don't make the best decisions, but hey, I don't know. Most people make terrible
They're
decisions.
like, it's fine, it's safe out there. She'll be fine.
Well, in that one, it's like they all know that there is actually no. I don't want to spoil.
They
in
just
case
know
you
that she's gonna die.
Yeah.
If
Or
she goes out there, so then they won't have to worry about it.
Yeah. But so you've seen Signs before?
I have, but I was so glad to rewatch it on a television that is good.
Oh, it was like old tube TV when you watched
Yes.
it last time.
And I think that was the reason I had a lot of problems with this movie in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
because I was under the impression that the alien didn't show up until when he walks across the alleyway with his Starbucks in his hand. You know,
Oh no! Like there, from the very jump of this movie, there's aliens.
I know, but
And
like I
that's
never saw the alien on the roof before because my TV was so shitty.
Oh yeah, it's probably way too dark. Yeah, and plus like,
And then the corn when his leg
oh dude,
when he's putting his leg with his leader hosing out.
something I yeah, and it's like, hey, big boy, there's some special corn in here.
Want to run backwards through a cornfield?
Yeah. This is like a great entry level
Yeah, my
like,
kids
horror
watched it
movie.
with me.
Yeah, it's a great movie for them. It's gonna scare them, especially the like every child. Like whenever they hit, I don't know, 8 and up, before they make it to high school, they need to see the birthday party scene. They need to know what
Yeah.
true terror is.
Yes.
They need to- and I don't know how closely you looked at that scene. This is the first time that I noticed that alien is clear. Like you're able to see it the entire time on that shot. Like it's not behind the bushes. It's camouflaged as the bushes.
Oh.
So if you pay close attention, you can actually see the outline of the alien.
He's there the whole time.
And it's like, this is what I love about the movie. It gave me chills again. I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit. I've seen this movie 1,000 times and I have chills again.
Yeah, like I never noticed, and I think it was a TV quality thing where how his skin reflected. What was
Mhm.
how he did the camouflage thing.
Yeah, like whenever they're at their coal chute, and the
Yeah,
hands there, like the hands is always there.
yeah.
Didn't really notice it until I got HDTV as well. I wish I could have watched this in
I have to watch it in theaters
Theater.
before now to
Yeah.
really like understand
if
what's
it ever
going on.
comes back. I want to go. But so this movie was a hit. So Sixth Sense, that thing had a huge like long run in theaters because it kind of came out of nowhere. People were like,
Yeah.
"Oh, M. Night who?" And then word of mouth of, you won't believe the ending. And then Unbreakable, less of a hit. You know, it was a superhero movie for anybody care about superhero movies.
Supergirl movie?
Superhero.
Ah,
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, I know.
He's just like a little bit strong. That's like his power. He's a little
Yeah.
bit strong.
He can lift
Um,
weights.
And then this movie came out and it was a huge hit. So it had a $72 million budget, and opening weekend it made over $60 million.
Hell yeah.
US gross over 200,000, worldwide 200 million. I do that every damn time. Worldwide was over 400 million. Pretty great.
Dang.
And everybody knows it stars Mel Gibson.
Yeah,
The
as soon
man
as we
that
saw
came-
it, Well, if it's like, oh no, he sucks now.
He's actually sucked for a long time.
I know.
He's been saying crazy things since like the 90s. It's just in the 2000s whenever it's like, oh, I can record myself saying things. I'll do it, even though it's the worst stuff. Mainly about what he wanted to happen to his wife in the language he used about it.
Do you think that technology, as men grow older, we should just stay away from technology more? Just to keep ourselves out of trouble?
If it's a technology you don't understand.
Yeah.
Like now everybody pretty much understands, oh, the internet, if I say it, it's going to be on there.
Yes.
But yeah, Mel Gibson, amazing actor. Love him as an actor. The man's career cannot be killed no matter what he says. Joaquin Phoenix, my favorite actor probably at this point. I mean,
yeah, he's great.
I've been watching him since I was young. Loved him since I was young. And now he just gets better and better.
I don't really know how much his presence really contributed to the movie. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't really use him.
Yeah, well,
as well as I thought. Maybe he's being used now.
I think he's kind of in this one. He's just kind of there for the powerhouse scenes. Like whenever he really needed Mel Gibson's character to like have someone to act against, because he really doesn't have much to act against. I mean, the kids are amazing. Like,
oh yeah,
Abigail,
Macaulay Culkin's
Rory Culkin, plays Morgan,
his clone.
Yeah, they all look like this.
I never fucking knew.
It's crazy.
Did Macaulay Culkin have a brother?
It's like,
holy shit!
I know, he's got 3 of them, and they're all actors.
I think he cloned himself.
I think this is pretty much Rory's Culkin's biggest movie, and then he's in Scream 4, and he's great in Scream 4. Abigail Breslin plays Bo.
God, she's so cute.
She's so good in this movie.
It's adorable.
It's like, I love the kids because they're kind of the parents in this movie. Because the other 2, they're so...
Yeah, man, he had to protect his sister from the dog.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy shit.
It's like, the other 2 are... Well, Meryl, who is just completely blind to everything, and just, he's so down on it himself because of his failed baseball career. And then Graham, of course, is going through the fact that his loss of faith and his wife.
Yeah, that was rough.
Morgan has to take care of Bo, essentially. And then Bo's just an angel who sees the future in her dreams.
Fuck yeah.
And then you got Cherry Jones, who plays Officer Paskey.
I like her.
Or Carolyn. Yeah, she's great. You know, something I also... And then you have M. Night as Ray Reddy, who should have...
No shit.
Had somebody else do his part.
Oh, he didn't really have a lot.
Yeah, I mean, he really isn't too bad in it, but it's just like...
that was what he looked like.
For me, because I know who it is, I'm like, why are you in this?
Get out of there, Em.
It's like, we could have had like Michael Shannon or somebody in this role. Or I was actually thinking Matt Dillon. Something about Mary. I was like, man, he would have crushed this thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just see when I watch it, I'm like, Matt Dillon would be good here. It'd been fun to see him.
The giant caps on his teeth.
Yeah. We'll hop into... So wait, before we go, so you rewatched it, and so before rewatching, what was your opinion on the movie?
That the reveal of the alien was so dorky in the alleyway.
Really, that was your thought?
That was the door, like, because I remember watching it, I was just building up to this huge moment, and then he was just like, he just walks across the street. I'm like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, see, because. I remember first time watching it is me and my best friend. We're in my living room. We had all the windows blocked by pillows and stuff just because it was so bright in there, and it's, you know, old TV, and it's a dark movie, and our TV was just bad. So we had to have complete pitch blackness in it. So we're going through it. The whole movie's great, and then he gets to that scene, and it just scared the shit out of us.
I was just so underwhelmed by it.
See, I was thinking that the reason I think that scene works so well. Personally, no, not, you know, obviously not everybody has the same opinion. But the fact that all it does is walk by, because you don't think you're really going to see it, because you only saw the leg earlier, and you're like, oh, we still got like half a movie to go. They'll probably show it later. And they just like let it just clearly walk by. And I was like, did not expect that. I thought like maybe a head pop out like, hey, how you doing? But yeah, I don't know. It's so good. And then, of course, the scene I think my favorite scene's probably them on top of the car with the baby monitor.
Oh yeah,
It's
he's
this
like, stop.
the progress of that scene and how everybody's becoming a believer, but Graham, like even Merrill, who thinks it's just nerds who wants trying to get girls.
Then he's wearing the hat after.
Yeah, so good. So after you watched it, what'd you think?
I had a much better time watching
better?
it, just because I could see those things that I couldn't see before, especially with the camouflaging stuff. That just adds a whole new level to this alien. But I was also like super confused about what the aliens wanted, because you don't see a lot of abduction or fighting or anything really. I mean, the one comes and they say that like they got deadly gas,
poison gas,
and like I don't know, and then they just leave after they take a couple dudes. Like I just don't.
No, they got driven away by
squirt guns.
People were able to fight them. Yeah. So there is this kind of one-off line. It's a news thing. There's like important stuff visually happening, but on the news it says they're there to harvest us.
Right.
Because there's only two ideas for aliens. They're here for peace or they're harvesting us. That's the only two things people can come up with.
They just seem so nonplussed though. Like they just seem like regular dudes with gas in their arm. Like they're not really that powerful. Yeah. They didn't even scare me that much.
Well, yeah, I know.
Except for like jumping on the roof. That was the scariest part to me.
Yeah, as soon as you see them, they're not super scary. But I guess there is the line where Morgan's like, they won't use technology on us because they know that once they
nuke the shit out of it.
Yeah, we're going to nuke them. And then at that point, everything's ruined. And
there we go. Here's another problem I have with it.
Okay, here we go. Here we go, baby. We're in it.
They're here for our resources, but they ended up only being there for people, right? Well, but if they are here for our resources, water's kind of our thing. We got a lot of it.
Well, I think they were thinking like, because I know, because this was kind of like more of a reconnaissance mission, I guess. Just from the dialogue, they're saying like, oh, this is probably just mainly
full on.
It was a probing attack first. So they're there. They're going to kind of attack a little bit just because the super weird recruiter guy in the army place was like
Blockface.
Yeah, that's an actor that's in a lot of David Lynch films.
His head is the squarest
because
face.
He acts weird and looks weird. Yes. So David Lynch is like, he's my best friend. But yeah, so I think at first this was probably the smaller attack before a large group come in, and they're like, oh, hold on, they have water in their houses too. We gotta go.
Or they just come back with scuba suits.
Yeah, that would be great. They come back. They're just in like hazmat suits, but they have a little part here where they can squirt out gas. Yeah. So we're gonna hop into some factoids. So what do you think of the opening credits and ending credits, like the blue and the black?
That was okay. I didn't really think anything.
I think it looks really cool. It doesn't really go with the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of that's what I thought too. I wasn't really impressed by it.
Like if he did this for like Unbreakable or something, it would have been perfect because it's a blue. The colors of the movie are blue. But he essentially was just trying to do an Alfred Hitchcock tribute because it's kind of similar to Signs and Birds, just the way the visual of the opening credits and stuff like that, and the music score at the beginning. So he was just kind of doing a tribute to the birds.
That's
essentially
fine, I guess. Just do it good next time.
Yeah. Well, I think it looks good. It just doesn't fit with the movie for me. And so all the crop circles were actually handmade.
That's cool. Yeah, you just gotta have a plank with a board, or a board with 2 ropes.
Yeah, and my favorite.
I've seen that guy.
My favorite part was M. Night Shyamalan stated that he didn't really care for using CGI at the time. So put the fucking aliens in costumes. Don't make them CGI. Or go back and try to redo your CGI. Like, this is a movie that desperately needs like a George Lucas redo on the CGI, but only redo the aliens, please.
A little polish.
They're just like, ugh. It sucks how bad they look. But whenever you see it through the TV, it looks great, personally. But as soon as they show him, when he gets water and he looks over, I'm like,
he's like,
dude, come on, man. They could look better than that.
Yeah.
The aliens have less than 5 minutes of screen time.
I feel like if you want like a invisible kind of enemy, or just one you never see, and you're saving that moment, I think they were kind of between the line of having a monster in the movie interact with people, and then having the monster interact indirectly
Mm-hmm.
through just being scaring the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
I feel like.
It's like, I wish I could have found something where they're like, I'm cool with not seeing it a lot. It's kind of like the Jaws situation. I get it. That's what he's kind of going for. A lot of, suspense and not seeing it and just like trying to look at the screen and be like, is there an alien on the frame? Is there an alien in the frame?
That would have been, I guess, maybe a little bit if he would have, been like, did more of the camouflage stuff, kind of.
Yeah. I think if it was
them.
made today, we'd probably seen him a little bit more and there'd been better CGI.
Or just make him completely camouflaged all the time. That would be scary as hell.
Yeah, just make him Predator. They're chameleons. So
Arnold Schwarzenegger busts your door down with machine gun
just
bullets.
covered in blood. Everybody's like, dude, you're getting mud everywhere. Not blood, I meant mud. So this was an interesting one for me. So I guess this movie has Revolutionary War themes. So Shyamalan likes to use colors and certain designs for symbolic purposes. In Signs, the Hess house was built from scratch to look Victorian American. There are little figurines based on the American Revolutionary War, and the house itself is colored red, white, and blue. Shyamalan's intention was to have the farm and the family represent the colonists during the 18th century. They were about to be invaded by a massive and scary force, with the aliens representing the British Army at the time. Despite being outmanned, the colonists won the Revolutionary War, much like how his family survives and overcomes the alien attack.
Okay.
I mean, stretch, but
sure.
Whatever. The house does look amazing.
Yeah, it's a cool ass house.
I love it. I want to live in it.
Yeah, I never got American Revolution vibes from anything.
It didn't shout out to you like, "Oh, this is obviously a metaphor for the Revolutionary War."
I guess.
Crap. There was something I was gonna say. Oh well. So, when the dog pees, in the ground. So the reason
made me so upset.
They're like, we should call the vet, and he's like, no, we'll call Doctor blah blah blah. Well, that's because Ray Reddy, the man that killed his wife, is the veterinarian.
Oh shit!
So that's why he didn't want to go to the vet because it's the only vet in town, I'm sure.
Reasonable.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, the medical doctor can do it, right? He'll know what to do.
Yeah, it's
just
close.
Give us some prescriptions and say, have a nice day. Call me in the morning. Yeah, so I already said the alien. Oh, another one. This is just something I kind of read from someone. It says that, so how you have the baby monitor?
Yeah.
Every time the family comes together and they're bonded as a unit. So think of the moment where Rory Culkin's holding the thing, and then you have all Meryl's holding Morgan, Bo's holding Meryl, and then Graham's holding Bo.
They're all connected.
And then that's when the signal boosts. And then the next time you see it doing it, they're all at the table where they just had the big emotional scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then all of a sudden the signal comes back.
That's cool.
It's supposed to be connected, bro.
That is kind of cool, like
that.
Playing on your emotions like that.
Yeah. Man, I love that scene too, whenever he has the breakdown at the table. It's so very awkward, but also hella emotional.
Yeah.
And then I remember reading something where Mel Gibson was talking about how he didn't realize at the time how impossible it is to eat and cry. He said it was like the hardest thing he's ever done, and that's why he looks like he's in so much pain while doing it. Works for the scene, but that's why it's also a little goofy looking. But man, Bo and Morgan sell that scene so well. How it's crazy how children can just cry. Wow.
Yeah, it sounded like real sad crying.
Yeah. And obviously there's a bit of a connection with War of the Worlds. Just because they bring up War of the Worlds, and the aliens kind of have a similar hands to War of the Worlds, which is fun.
Okay.
And this will be my last fact. So Joaquin Phoenix wasn't the original person to play Meryl. It was actually supposed to be Mark Ruffalo.
Oh.
But at this time, he had to pull out because he had to have surgery on a brain tumor, which ended up being benign. But they got it out, and that's why Mark Ruffalo actually has his kind of a little bit of a droopy face. It's because when they went to take out the tumor, they severed some nerves.
Oh,
that's kind of why his face is a little.
Oh, that sucks.
Which just made him more endearing and kind of a more interesting actor, I feel like. And then the last thing is Mel Gibson. His role was actually originally written for Clint Eastwood.
Oh, wow. That could have been cool.
I don't know.
Maybe.
He was like still in his 80s. I don't know. The man's been like in his 80s forever. I don't know. He's just so old.
Yeah,
it'd be weird to have the kid
having young children.
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's super weird.
Excuse me.
He'd have to be grandpa.
Yeah,
great grandpa.
Oh man, dude, so pumped.
And Joaquin Phoenix, he's got a cleft lip, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got a cleft lip. All right, bro, you ready to start the movie?
Yeah,
let's go. So the movie starts out great because it just immediately starts with Graham waking up suddenly after you see like a shot of his family before the wife died. We see him walking around the house, checking on the kids. He's just kind of picking up some stuff, and all of a sudden, he hears a scream.
So do you think he's not Catholic because he's married?
Yeah.
So what denomination?
I don't remember all of them.
Episcopalian or something?
Episcopalian, something like that, yeah.
Don't know.
He just likes the Jesus. Well, not anymore. And then we hear the scream again. It cuts to Meryl. He just rolls out of the bed.
Everyone wakes up in a panic.
Yeah. I mean, is there anything scarier to an adult than hearing their tiny little girl screaming outside? And it's like,
I didn't know this was what they heard.
Oh my God. He lives like in this little shed outside or whatever you would call it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like a garage above the garage or something.
So they run outside and they hear Bo screaming in the cornfield. They run into the cornfield and they see Bo. Bo immediately says, "Are you in my dream too?" First mention of her dream.
She's just sleepwalking. God, it's terrifying.
And then they find Morgan, and Morgan's like, "I think God did it." He's like, okay, like did what? And then we see our first sign. Is it a sign from the alien or from God? It's a crop circle, so it's a sign from aliens.
Crop circles.
We cut to Graham. He's calling some guy named Lee, who I'm assuming is Lionel Pritchard's son, father. Because they think it's probably Lionel Pritchard, but he was at the movies.
Oh.
We hear, and then next thing he's like, "Okay, sorry, I thought it was him. Never mind." And then
doesn't she say the police officer say like he can't do anything without pissing the front of his pants?
Oh yeah, a little later he says that. Yeah. Okay. And then this is where we get the dog peeing because all the dogs are acting weird, like marking their territory and growling. It's like my dog.
To death.
Anytime a cat walks near anything that he thinks is his, shoes, piece of hair on the floor. And then we get Deputy Carolyn or Sheriff Carolyn. I always call her officer. She stops by, and they just kind of have a talk. And this is, I think, where we get the line of "you can't piss on himself" or whatever. Apparently, a lot of things are happening around town. We see the kids are grilling because I guess after all this craziness, Graham was like, "Hey, let's put some stuff on the grill," I guess. We get the whole contaminated water thing where Bo's trying to give the dog some water. She drinks it first. It's contaminated.
And that scares the shit out of me. Like, maybe she can taste something I can't.
Yeah, it's like, maybe we should listen to her. But we'll figure out why there's so much water. Could it be a sign?
Kids just do this anyway. Because as soon as I saw it, I was like, man, my kids did the same thing. They don't say it's contaminated. They just don't put their cups up.
Yeah. So while she pours the water in the bowl, and then all of a sudden the dog starts growling, and Morgan's like, "Don't run away." It's very scary. It's especially being a German Shepherd. It's the scariest thing that could probably happen to kids. Being, a foot away from a
amazing
giant dog.
That he knew not to run away because I only recently learned that.
Oh, really? Yeah, you're supposed to make yourself big and just hopefully
because if you run, they will
scream at it and hopefully
you.
It'll run away. They hate noises. In times of like
so do I.
When they want to attack, if you make a loud noise, it panics.
What if I make a curse?
Yeah. Then we see they're out in the cornfield. Graham and the officer. She says there's reports of violent animal behavior have spread across town. And then we cut to there's more screaming. And then they go and you see that Morgan has killed the dog with a barbecue fork. He's like, "It landed on me."
Well, no, he doesn't hear anything. He's just like, he turns around, he's panicking. "I don't hear my children." Are your children constantly just, you're in the middle of a cornfield. Of course you can't hear them.
Well, at the end of the film, all he, like whenever he puts on he's like a preacher again, like downstairs, all you hear is his children playing. So it's like, oh, everything's nice and calm.
Okay.
Everything's calm now. Now that there's children screaming.
Yes.
But after Morgan kills the dog, it left him shocked and he's silent. It's super sad.
Man, he got it with one of those hot dog forks, didn't he?
Yeah, it's like a barbecue poker.
Yeah.
Said he just fell on me. And during the scene where he's talking to the officer, he's telling her like she keeps calling him father, and he's like, "Don't call me father." It's really pushing the narrative. It's like, I do not do this anymore.
Yeah, that's got to be a tough thing to retire from.
Yeah.
You got to move.
Yeah. It's like everybody's just like, why aren't father? It's like, what did I say? And then later that night, man, this movie just really goes at the beginning. It's just like constant scary thing after scary thing.
Yeah.
Later, Bo wakes Graham up asking for a glass of water because the one next to her bed tastes old. What does that mean? I do kind of understand what they mean when it's like you wake up in the morning, you take a drink of your water, and it's like, damn, wish it was cold.
Yeah, I guess.
So he walks her back to the bed. Bo asks why he talks to her mom when he's alone. He's like, and then asks like,
oh yeah, that's so sad.
I know, it's so sweet and sad. It's
So
like, does
she
she
don't
ever
talk to me either.
she ever talk back? And she's like, no, yeah, me neither. Just like, okay, Jesus Christ. I'm so tired. But then, like one of the best shots of the movie, like he's just looking out the window and then just sees like a dark black figure. And then what I love about this is that he sees the figure and the figure eventually notices and kind of flinches a little bit, like it's about to run away. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. I never noticed that until this watching. That's why I love doing this podcast. I noticed so much stuff that I never would notice before. But then Graham and Merle, they're ready to fuck some shit up. Merle's all like, all right, we're going to run out there all crazy, just screaming, flailing our hands, and just sound tough and scary. Graham's like, do you want me to curse? And he's like, yeah, say whatever you got to do. It's like, but I don't curse. It's like, well, you don't mean it. You're just trying to scare him away. And then they go running outside. And I love it because Graham's, I'm insane with anger. Merle, I'm going to beat your ass, bitch. And they're just like, I'm a crazy man. I'm going to beat your ass.
Do you hear me? I cursed.
Did you hear me? I cursed. Yeah, great job. It's so good. But I love it because then they like cross each other and like turn around.
I thought it would have been hilarious if they would have run into each other.
Yeah.
Like looking up at the house.
You mean like in Scary Movie 3?
Is that what they do? I haven't seen that one.
My favorite scary movie. And I think that's why I love this movie and Scary Movie 3 so much is because just in high school and junior high, I watched both of these so much. And, oh, man, I don't know. And then you got in Scary Movie 3, you have the bit with a officer's hat where every time she shows up, every time it cuts away, her hat gets bigger or smaller. And then eventually it's so big, she can't even get into the car. It's so good. God, we got to do a scary movie soon.
I haven't seen that
funny.
One. I think I've only seen the first one.
Yeah, that one does the Ring, Signs, and what else? 8 Mile does all that. It does all those. It's right before they all got terrible. Some people may say Scary Movie 3 is terrible. I think it's the best one.
I always like the strong hand guy.
Oh yeah, Scary Movie 2. So good. So yeah, they ran in circles. They didn't see anything. I cursed, I know, but they hear it on the roof of the house. And now they are unsure if it's Lionel Pritchard. It's like, wait, how did he get up there?
He's got a 10-foot vertical.
Yeah. And then he essentially like jumped over him, I guess, and then disappeared into the crops, moving faster and disappearing quickly.
He did one of those Mario running backflips.
Yeah. Wahoo! Woo! Damn, I want to play Mario now.
That would have been great.
Give me a Signs version of Mario.
Terrifying.
Yeah. So Morgan takes a liking. So the sheriff's back or whatever. And then like he's talking to Morgan and Morgan's like likes her walkie-talkie. And then she kind of brings up, oh, baby monitors can do this too, but it's only one way. We get more water stuff with Bo. It's got amoebas in it.
Sure does.
She's watching Dexter's Laboratory and tells her to turn it off.
That was awesome.
Turn it down.
I love Dexter's Laboratory.
I know, that movie's great. Or show.
Yes.
So the sheriff talks to Merrill. He doesn't think he's any help, but she does. Something I like about this movie, there's a lot of panning shots where it starts on one person, slowly pans. Kind of does it like 4 or 5 times in the movie, if not more.
Yeah, I didn't really notice.
It's just, I don't know. It's the way the house is set up and just kind of the way the the lens kind of manipulates the visuals like of the house where it kind of makes it looks a little weird and bigger than it's supposed to be. And
yeah, man, lenses.
It's very unnerving, I feel.
It really is.
Yeah. And this is where we learn a little bit about Merrill, that he doesn't play baseball anymore and stuff like that. And he just thinks he's useless here because he's not doing anything with his life and he just works at a gas station. We all feel like that sometimes.
Living with your brother.
Yeah.
I think that's why he moved there, right? Because his wife died.
Yeah.
To help out with the kids and stuff.
He just feels stuck. He's stuck just like Graham, just in his own way.
He wants to join the army.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't do it.
Don't. Bro, just
don't.
Go coach some like Little League or something. You'll get joy out of it. So they try to tell the officer what happened, but they don't have any real information. She's like, all right, so all you told me is it was dark. She's like, it was? It was dark.
It was certainly dark.
They're just like, it's tall and stuff. And then all of a sudden, Carolyn is just like, well, it could have been somebody at the Olympics. Now there's these women at the Olympics. And it's just like,
went on and on.
It's like, okay, dude, we get that people are fast. That's an M. Night thing. Where it's like, ooh, isn't she kind of kooky too? She won't stop talking about the Olympics. And it's like, M. Night, you need to get a little bit better at your dialogue, brother.
I watched some Olympics yesterday. It was fun.
We've been watching it all the time. Mainly gymnastics and swimming. That's our two favorites. So she asked about if anyone would be, and then she explains that there's a strange woman in town acting strange, and she's like, it could have been her. And then she asked about if anyone has been mad at them since he left the church. It's more like, he's left the church.
A woman that wears a hat, and that's why she's weird.
Yeah.
She's different.
But then Meryl's like, it wasn't anybody in the Olympics. I'm strong and I'm fast, and I could not keep up with it. So like, God, stop talking about the Olympics. But then Bo comes in and says, hey, there's the same channels on every single station. It's like, what? And
Simpsons reruns.
They're super shocked to learn that there's more crop circles all over the world, in fact, in ways that's too quickly to merely be a hoax.
Yeah, I like how they
Aliens.
Talked about how it's actually done as a hoax, and then they were like, but no, this has happened unless there's this giant coordinated event.
Yeah.
This is
Unless
crazy.
there's an insane cult that's just trying to freak everybody out. It's a Scientologist. Like, it's for Xenu. So then we get a shot of Morgan. He's taking a puff as an inhaler just to make you add like, oh, great. Now there's a kid with an inhaler. But it's actually, you know what it is? A sign. We'll see why later. So there's Carolyn tells him to keep his kids calm and away from the news. Then you get this great zoom out where it's you're seeing outside, and then it zooms into the house as you just see Graham sitting there just like, fuck. Yeah. My life sucks and this is worse.
This is all happening way too fast. God,
just some of the shots in this movie are so good. He's such a good visual director.
Yeah.
Just wish he could.
For sure.
Just it's like, I say that he's a bad writer, in which, especially when you watch The Happening, it's like, he's not a very good writer. But his dialogue's so awkward, and it's like, people don't talk like this, that I love it. I just love it. I don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting. It kind of
just gonna scream about it.
Keeps everything a little off kilter.
Yeah, he's really good at making everything seem awkward and not normal.
For sure.
For lack of better words, apparently. So they all go to town. The young kids go to a bookstore. Morgan asks for a book about aliens. Graham gets an asthma inhaler. The cashier calls him father. He's like, don't do that. Then she asks to confess to him. He says no, but she does it anyways. So good. And then Meryl goes into an army recruitment building. You have this weird recruiter who's like, hey, you're that baseball player. You should have, why don't you have girls licking your feet?
Oh, gross.
Like, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. You're such
This is what you got to look forward to in the army, my friend.
This guy's just talking about, you should have a bunch of pretty women licking your toes.
Yeah.
And then this is where we essentially, the recruiter tells us what the aliens are doing. They're just kind of probing at the point and scoping things out to make sure they can make contact. And the guy recognizes he plays baseball. Find out he has 5 minor league records. But then all of a sudden, Lionel shows up and mentions that he has the record for strikeouts as well.
He's such a weird looking dude.
Yeah, do you know who that is?
I know I've seen him before. I don't know his name.
Yeah, he's a part of crap.
He was in Wet Hot American Summer.
It's Michael Showalter.
Showalter.
He's
okay.
Yeah, he was a part of that whole like improv group.
Yeah.
They have a bunch of hilarious videos on YouTube and stuff. And
yes.
yeah, he essentially
funny as hell.
has made some of the funniest movies that no one's ever heard of.
yeah.
Yeah, Wet Hot American Summer. Please come on to something so we can cover it.
yeah.
I can't buy it anywhere. But something that I really like, Joaquin Phoenix delivers this line where he looks at the recruiter and he says, "It felt wrong not to swing." He just delivered the hell out of that line. It made me feel
that was really cool.
sad.
Because he made him feel like shit for swinging at everything.
Yeah, and it's like, it just felt wrong not to. And then he walks up to Lionel and like jumps at him and makes him flinch. It's so good. Why the hell is Michael Showalter in this movie? It makes so no sense. He has one line.
It's not a good part.
It's
for him.
And it's the only time he's ever done a dramatic movie.
I know. Well, I didn't know that. But.
Like he delivers the line well. It's just, it takes you out of the movie a little bit. This whole scene it's just like you got two really weird people like talking to Joaquin Phoenix. It's like, what are we doing?
Maybe that's why I put him in there.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Has to just be like, wait, why is he in here? I'm already too stressed to even figure this out. Then we cut to the bookstore. You got Bo asking for more water. She says, contaminated. The lady at the bookstore is like, there's something wrong with our water. It's like, Morgan's like, she does this. I can't take her anywhere.
And what book on aliens did he get? This is the most.
It's just a random book.
Hairbrained.
Yeah, and because when he asked for it, it's like, oh, we actually got a random book. It came in and it wasn't supposed to.
Are these the books that ufologists write and read and write?
I don't know. I guess so. But hey, maybe they got that book. Maybe it's a
sign.
Because it is. Because it's a random book. Got shipped to the wrong place and now it landed into the right kid's hand.
They decided to keep it.
God is good. So the cashier is still confessing to Graham. This is where I swore 37 times last month. How about John is a douchebag before kissing Barbara? It's a curse. So good. So then we cut to the family is at a pizza joint and they see Graham sees the random man and they just stare at him. And it's like, is that the one? Like,
Ray.
Yeah, it's Ray who ended up killing his wife. Bo doesn't know who he is though. So
so he did that. He never told them.
Well, I think Morgan knows, but I don't think Bo does because she's so young. I'm sure she was super young when it happened. So we learned that Morgan finds Bo's like old baby monitor from the basement, and he carried it to town with him. On the return home, one of the best scenes of the movie happens. There's like strange noises on the baby monitor and like clicking coming from it. And then Merle thinks it's he gives this nerd speech, which is just another M. Night thing where it's like, let's have this random monologue. It's like, it's just a bunch of nerds. You can't get a.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah. Like making fun of nerds.
And then like Graham's like, give me that. And he gets out and then all of a sudden it like makes a noise. He's like, wait, stop. And then Graham's like, this is why we're not watching the news. But then Merle's like, wait, no, don't turn it off. He's like, he's starting to believe. Morgan, believing that the sounds to be aliens, climbs on the car roof to get a better signal. And they all end up getting on the car roof and touching, like holding hands. And all of a sudden,
it was a cool picture. Like a
helps
shot.
Boost the signal. Yeah, it's just like the man can craft a scene. I mean,
that was,
Like, is this the build up to them all starting to believe a little bit? It's really, 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 really good.
Yeah, because as soon as he says stop and everyone just freezes.
Yeah.
Everybody's in. Like,
everybody's like, wait, this is weird. But as soon as they're starting to get a signal and they're hearing more, the noises completely stop. Morgan theorized that they were communications between two of the aliens.
I wish there would, I don't know. You can't understand what they're saying, but what if it's just something normal?
It's just like Beavis and Butthead talking to each other.
Fire.
They're in like the neighbor's bathroom, just like talking. It's like, toilet paper. TV for my bunghole. Stupid dumbass.
They have boobs.
Yeah. Oh, I'd watch it. So that evening, Graham, investigating their other dogs barking, goes into the cornfield to investigate. He stands in the middle of a crop circle. This scene rolls as well.
It'd be funny if the dog just barked at corn all the time.
Yeah.
To keep it back from invading the property.
Corn. I only enjoy popcorn.
You see some corn at the edge of the field just like inching forward.
It's like, howdy ho. Just it's just like Mr. Hanky.
Oh no!
Damn, we got a
Mr. Hanky's here.
We got a lot of references going on in this movie. We're crushing. So, speaking in a loud, firm tone, he tells the unseen being that they'll get no publicity from stalking his farm or his family. He then hears the clicking noises from earlier. He suddenly sees he gets into he's just like walking back into the field, and he drops his flashlight, and then he starts hearing clicking, and then he lifts up his flashlight, and it's the green or blue looking leg. I guess it was green because he's probably camouflaged with the corn.
I guess, or
it's so scary.
I don't know. Yeah, it was like that was pretty creepy.
Yeah.
It's just all around surrounded by corn. Corn is the scariest vegetable.
It really is. And I grew up all around cornfields. Like there, because behind our house and next to our house, well, not next, but all behind our house, there's cornfields, and there's this dirt road we used to ride 4-wheelers through, and sometimes at night we'd walk through there. So scary, dude. Corn is so scary. And just one little thing I want to clap back at this movie for. They should have so many spiders and bugs in them. Because have you ever walked into a cornfield?
I can't remember the last time I did that.
Always spider webs and bugs.
Oh,
dude. Always. Even though they like spray them, it does not work fully. There's
always going to be something.
Because there's times where I ran into a cornfield and I was like, I'm out of here. This is terrifying.
Covered in spiders.
I hate this.
I'd hate to go into a cranberry patch. Have you ever seen those?
No, I haven't.
They are covered in like these wolf spiders.
Oh,
and
the wolf giant ones?
The wolf, well, they're tiny ones, but they are, I don't know, but like they're good for the shit because they keep the bugs off.
Yeah.
But when they harvest the cranberries, the people just get swarmed. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to keep out of the water.
Yeah.
But they're covered in them like a blanket.
Yeah.
Of spiders.
What's great is wolf spiders look exactly like brown recluses. Yay! So it's even scarier when you see one.
It's horrible.
So back to the movie. Graham, even though super startled, sprints back to the house. He stops and just sits at the kitchen table without talking, which is really good because everybody's just being normal, and they're like, the kid's like, "Uh-oh, Dad, something happened to Dad." And then Meryl turns around and is like, "Uh-oh, something happened to him." Everybody's super terrified, like, this guy's supposed to be a rock. He then tells Bo, Morgan, and Meryl that they can turn on the television, which is something he said they couldn't do.
Does it piss you off whenever they drop the camera? Like the flashlight?
Oh, yeah. It's like,
I can't see.
It's something in movies where it's like the one thing they always need to hold on to, everybody becomes Butterfingers all of a sudden. It's always frustrating, but it happens all the time. So they turn on the news to discover that large, mysterious, unidentifiable lights have been spotted over Mexico City. Looks like they're, but I love this because, and actually I think it's just kind of all over the place now. This is where it's kind of spreading to more places. During the scene, it's great because they're watching the TV, but they're staring right at us.
Yeah.
Which is so unnerving.
That was cool.
Very eerie.
I love the reflections in the television.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, they're looking at me now. I'm just sitting here trying to watch a movie, but that's fine.
Maybe it's just shine.
And this is where we get a great little line. Morgan, we have to tape this. And then Bo, my ballet recital.
Yeah, what the fuck, Morgan?
I know. It's like, this is important. It's like, listen, Bo, this is very important. Everything people have written about in science books is going to change. The history of the world's future is on the TV right now. We need to record this so you can show your children this tape and say you were there for your children, Bo. Bo, my ballet recital. And then as soon as they turn the TV on, it's like, it immediately says, everything people have written about in science books is going to change the history of the world's future right now. He's like, told you. Oh, it's so good. And then all the kids fall asleep, and then it's just Graham and Meryl together. And I wrote down kind of both lines because I feel like it's really long, so bear with us here. But the entire point of the movie is here in this dialogue. So Graham says, because Meryl's asking him about faith and like luck and coincidence and whether or not that Graham still believes and has faith and stuff. And then Graham says, people break down into two groups. When they experience something lucky, group number one sees it more than luck, more than coincidence. They see it as a sign. Signs? Evidence that there is something up there watching out for them. Group number two sees it as just pure luck, just a happy turn of chance. I'm sure the people in group two are looking at those 14 lights in a very suspicious way. For them, the situation is 50-50. Could be bad, could be good. But deep down, they feel that whatever happens, they're on their own. and that fills them with fear. Yeah, there are those people, but there's a whole lot of people in group 1. When they see those 14 lights, they're looking at a miracle, and deep down, they feel that whatever's going to happen, there will be someone there to help them, and that fills them with hope. See, what you have to ask yourself is, what kind of person are you? Are you the kind that sees signs, that sees miracles, or do you believe that people just get lucky? Or look at the question this way. Is it possible there are no coincidences? And then
yes,
immediately goes to Meryl, who has the funniest. Just like, okay, this is really how you choose to believe that there's fate and stuff. Meryl, one time I was at this party and I was sitting on the couch with Amanda McKinney. She was just sitting there looking beautiful. So I leaned in to kiss her and I realized I have gum in my mouth. So I turned to spit it out and put it on a paper cup. I turned back and Amanda McKinney throws up all over herself. I knew the moment it happened, it was just a miracle. I could have been kissing her when she threw up. Would have scarred me for life. I may never have recovered.
That was perfect.
So yeah, the whole Graham thing, it's like a very moving and deep speech. And then Meryl just kind of comes up, oh, this what type? At Bandcamp? No, but I just, it's probably like my favorite monologue from the whole thing when Graham, because this Mel Gibson crushes it. Because he's got crazy in his eyes. So when whenever he's always had crazy in his eyes, that's why he's perfect in Lethal Weapon and the Mad Max series. But just like seeing him just try to wrap his head around whether he's a man of faith or a man of, don't want to say science, but science. Or it's not science because I don't.
Just not unfaith.
Yeah, he's a man of unfaith. But I don't know. I really do like this whole scene.
He's an apostate.
It's probably the best, until Meryl comes in, it's probably the best written thing he's done in this movie.
Yeah, it was amazing.
And then Meryl's like, oh, what? Oh, I kissed a girl. Or almost did. But yeah, and then Meryl essentially is asking, he's like, well, so what do you believe? And he's like, I don't know. And then he kind of starts talking about the death of his wife and that before she died, she said, see. It's like, she said, Graham, see. And then told Meryl to swing away. When Meryl asks his brother the same question about the faith, Graham does not answer. Then we cut to the flashback that shows Graham approaching the scene of an accident, still in his clerical suit. He sees his wife pinned to a tree by a truck, and the officer tells him that his wife won't live long, being held alive only by the truck pinning her into place. It doesn't go that far into it, but I just wrote kind of the whole thing.
Right.
But what I do like is, it's very weird, and it works though, is that he explains what happens to his wife, and then they cut to the flashback, only showing a little bit of it.
Yeah.
So it's like, you hear about the terrible thing, and then it's like, oh, we're going to see it. But then he holds it back a little bit, and it just kind of more anticipation to see like,
just to see the carnage.
When are we going to hear an emotional speech? Because we know it's coming.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So the following morning, we see Meryl is watching the news in the closet. He's like, I had to take it away. The kids just wouldn't stop watching it. So I'm protecting them, even though he's slowly becoming crazy in that closet. So he's watching the news. He seems like he might be going a little crazy. He thinks the crop circles are there to help the UFOs to navigate to those spots. Which he's like, by the way, like we have one in our backyard, bro.
Yeah, they're showing up all around him.
And I love that Meryl's the one that says, "Oh, it's a way for them to navigate." And then in the end, he's like, "Oh, we should stay here, though." Like, okay.
So after he says he wants to go to the lake.
Mm-hmm. So he walks in on the kids reading about aliens, and we see him wearing tinfoil hats. It's so great. And he goes in there to sit with them, and Graham's like, "Who wrote this thing?" He's like, "Scientists who were persecuted for their own beliefs." And then like,
deep. Ufologists.
It's funny because that's like not now, but that's how it used to be. If you talk about UFOs, you're crazy.
That's a tinfoil hat thing. It's so funny.
It's so good.
Maybe that's what made me think, what the fuck are they reading?
I know. They're just kids though.
What kind of crackpot?
In their heads, it's like, oh, this will obviously work.
I know, it's so cool.
And then like Graham's kind of making fun of it a little bit. He's like, well, we're not going to talk to you if you do this. And Bo, you have to take this seriously. So cute. But the book says the aliens are either here for research or they're hostile. While looking through the book, he notices a picture of a house on fire. Looks a lot like their house. Bo's like,
it's their house.
Bo's like, that's our windows. And then we also see 3 bodies laid dead on the ground.
Whoa,
and then like a super loud telephone ring, and it jump scares everybody. It's really good. It's perfect timing. And then you have Graham. Everybody needs to calm down and eat some fruit or something.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one I was thinking of.
It was between that. Oh, dang it. We probably should have done that one. So the phone call was from Ray. He just says, "Father?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then you kind of hear a little bit of like clicking on the other end. And then
like
goes
they're
away.
Listening in on the phone call?
Well, because later we'll see that at Ray's, like he had one in his house and he trapped it.
Right.
And then Bo turns to Morgan and says she doesn't want him to die. And it's like, why? Who told you I was going to die? But Bo has her dreams.
Fuck.
So that's where she's getting it. So Graham takes a short visit to Ray Reddy's house. His name's Ray Reddy. We're not going to talk about how bad of a name that is. Why would you name him Ray Reddy? And finds Ray staring blankly out of his car window and bleeding. He says one got into his house.
Well, doesn't he love to put red shit in movies? Isn't that Shyamalan?
I know he's got a visitor. Not the Village.
Like,
I don't know.
Red is huge in The Sixth Sense and The Village, and I'm sure like everything else.
He does like play with the colors
so maybe
a lot.
The word red.
Like if you watch the movie Glass, like the whole movie is just set up with color schemes for each character, and it's like
that's cool. Anyway, sorry.
So, and he says he got one into his house. He said like, I knew I had your number, and for some reason, you're the only person I could think to call. Ray apologizes for the accident that occurred, tells Graham that they don't like water and that a lot of people have gone to the lake. And then he says, sorry for making him lose his faith. Mel Gibson fucking crushes this scene. Just like, because he's so crazy looking and uncomfortable, and he always seems a little amped up. And you can just see how uncomfortable he is. Like having to sit here talking to this guy who he's like, this guy killed my wife. And then to hear him like apologize, which I'm sure is
he's
frustrating, but also super sad because it's like, oh, well, I think this guy's life was also probably ruined that night, just like mine is.
Yeah.
And I think he always wanted to hear him like say sorry for making him lose his faith, I think.
Yeah, I believe that he was kind of fighting from, whenever he left his religion or whatever, he probably decided he would never forgive anyone ever again.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, if I don't believe in Christianity anymore, there's no reason to forgive anybody. Kind of do whatever I want now.
Maybe.
Yeah. So before driving away and leaving Graham in the driveway, Ray tells him that he trapped one in the pantry. It's like, oh, cool. They can't open doors. Yes. So
it's just a little lock, and they're supposed to be.
He did have some stuff
aliens
against the door, so maybe.
I guess
maybe they don't have.
They just
doorknobs.
have gas. They're just gassing.
I mean, I'm sure. Like, I don't know. Maybe these aliens they're just like, we don't know how things work in this world. Everything we have, we just use our mind and it opens or whatever. I don't know. So, yes, here we go, baby. Powered. We cut to Meryl, who's still in the closet. He's startling. I mean, this would be me, though. I'd be glued to the TV if this was happening.
He hasn't slept.
Or I'd just be like, hey, Natalie, is there anywhere you want to go? Because this might be it for us. And so this is on the news. We see it's like found footage. M. Night just took a regular camcorder to film this, and he was doing it all himself. And during a boy's birthday party in Rio Grande, in Brazil somewhere, an alien slowly walks by a driveway. And we kind of talked about it earlier, why I think it's scary. It's like you're not expecting such a clear shot, and it's just kind of casually walking by, which is like, hey, can you not be so casual, dude? You're an alien.
Yeah, I mean, he's not even trying to sneak or like hurt anybody either. He's just walking around.
They're just
he's got a camera around his neck, snapping photos and shit.
Yeah. Well, he's scoping out the land. So then we're back to the Graham scene. Graham investigates. He pretends to be a cop because he still thinks it's just a random guy. It's like, me and the guys will put
you from the 20s.
Don't throw your life away. We don't want to put you in a paddy wagon. He's like, what the fuck did I just say? And then after he even says something so stupid, he's like, well, I'll keep trying. But then he takes a carving knife from the kitchen and attempts to use it like a mirror to catch the intruder's reflection from under the door. When he
that was a cool thing.
Oh, dude. Yeah, this scene rules. I wish it wasn't CGI, but it still rules. When he does, like the hand comes out and it's like the fingers scratching at it. He's like fumbling with the knife, and then eventually he's able to cut
just like the
cut
carrots.
The hands. Yeah. Yeah, those carrots, which are just there foreshadowing the fact that he's going to cut off fingers. It's like, okay, dude, we get it. You staged this scene. We get it. And startled Grant, he cuts off the knife. And I like before he does that, he walks away first. Like, he's like, I don't believe it. I'm not going to believe it. I'm not even going to, I don't want to see because I don't want to actually know if it's aliens or not. And then you're like, fuck it. Does it. That's great. So Graham returns home, he's like, oh my God, what did I just see? Sits down on some stairs.
Mind blown.
And then you see the whole family's there with tinfoil hats except for Graham. And then Merle says immediately they can change colors and use camouflage. It's great. Morgan says that they will use hand-to-hand combat because they don't want us to use nukes. And that if the aliens lose, they will eventually come back.
Either hundreds or thousands of years.
Thousands of years, yeah. It's like, oh, great. Obviously setting up signs too.
Fuck yeah, man.
Bring it. I love it. So Graham proposes to his family 2 options. They can either go to the lake in hopes that aliens do not like water or stay home. After a family vote in which at first it's 3-2 because Graham's vote counts as 2 because of his wife, they're going to go to the lake, but Morgan's like super pissed off, says bullshit.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess because Bo trusts Morgan more than Graham, she changes her vote to stay here. And then now Graham's pissed off. But the family decides to stay home and they board up all the windows. Meryl goes outside, throws a baseball.
They got a lot of boards just laying around. Do they just have like a pallet?
It's just a farm. I guess they just have wood everywhere.
It's got a giant stack because they've got 100,000 windows.
Yeah. Actually, can't wait to talk about that a little bit later.
Oh yeah, there's lots of it.
So while Graham and Meryl are boarding up the house, Morgan and Bo watch the news and find out that mysterious airborne lights are now visible over approximately 274 cities worldwide, appearing within a mile of crop signs, and the appearance are growing rapidly. News is acting like it's the end of the world. Meryl says world type stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
And then
That'd be wild.
Graham leaves the closet and says, I'm going to go board up some more. And then Morgan and Meryl are just sitting there, and Morgan asks Meryl, it's like, if he will take care of them. And he says, of course I will. And he says he wishes he was his actual dad.
Oof.
Wah, wah, wah. He's like, don't ever say that.
Hell yeah.
So before the family finished up boarding the house, they decide to have their last full family meal, or the Last Supper. And they're all choosing their favorite foods. I really like this.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Where it's just like, I want spaghetti. And then he's like, I want French toast with mashed potatoes. Like, now we're talking.
Hell yeah.
And then I guess they also just had some chicken teriyaki in the house. I don't really understand that. It's like, okay.
They got it all.
Graham's like, I want a hamburger with bacon. Extra bacon.
Fuck yeah.
Because I don't care if I get cholesterol now. So, an emotional scene, probably the most heartbreaking scene of the whole movie. Morgan wants to pray, but Graham doesn't want to. Morgan says he hates him. It's like, well, that might be fine. And he's like, you know what? Y'all don't want to eat? I'm going to eat all your food. And he's like, I won't waste a single minute more on prayer. He starts eating all their food and then starts crying. It's kind of funny, but also super sad.
Yeah, he's lost his shit.
Yeah. And then Morgan realizing like, oh, crap, my dad's losing it. Goes to hug him. And then Bo does. Sweet. And then
Meryl gets in there.
Meryl's just like, oh, I guess I'll just sit here. And then he like goes, takes them and grabs them. And then they all have this hug and it's like super sweet.
Alien hugs them.
And then, yeah. And I think this was a part where it's just like this is where Graham's like, damn, like the death of our wife has really killed our family here. I have to be strong and tough.
Oh, yeah.
And then suddenly the baby monitor begins to making the familiar clicking noises and stuff. Graham checks the television to only see it's no longer broadcasting. They then board up the last doors and windows and go to the living room waiting for aliens.
Did you see how they boarded up the bedroom?
Yeah.
It opened from the inside.
Yeah.
They put 2 boards
so good
in front of it.
It's so good. They were getting in no matter what. But then he starts trying to calm his kids by telling them the way that they were born.
He's like, here, I know it's scary, but let me make you cry real quick.
Yeah. Well, it really works. It definitely works for Bo. She's loving it. She's just smiling real big. Says that.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah.
And then when she gets to the Morgan,
yeah,
he's like, your mom's bleeding so much.
This is apparently what happened to M. Night's kids. This is their birthing story.
Damn.
But yeah, like Bo apparently is so angelic and perfect, and everybody called her an angel. It's really sweet. Abigail has this huge smile on her face because she's like the sweetest, cutest kid ever. But then they cut to their dog, who was accidentally left outside, begins to bark alarmingly, but it's quickly silenced with a yelp.
Oh, man, that was sad, too.
I know, it
You're like,
sucks.
oh, shit, we forgot the dog. It just dies.
So soon after, something can be heard climbing onto the roof and breaking into the attic. It's great because you're just hearing noises all around the house. And like, if your TV's real loud, you have surround sounds in your walls like I do.
I wish I did.
It's amazing. He then tells Morgan's birth story, which is also super sweet. And like there was a ton of blood and they weren't sure he was going to make it.
Yeah.
But then like he was better and then like brought him in and it was this, Colleen, the wife, and Morgan were just staring at each other and it was great or whatever.
Super sweet story.
Yeah. I didn't write down those quotes. I should have. When Meryl realizes that no one boarded up the attic access door in the ceiling, family retreats to the basement. The intruders soon find the basement door and try to break in. Needing something to brace the door, they get like the axe and pitchfork.
Yeah, it took them
thingy.
forever to find something.
Yeah. But doing this, they accidentally smashed their lantern.
Yeah. This was so funny. Me and my wife
It's like,
we're talking
"God dang
about
it."
like how we would both react in that moment. And she was like, she's the one that breaks it. She's like, turn on the light.
Yeah, exactly. So Morgan finds a flashlight and they look and they start looking around and Graham realizes that the aliens aren't trying to get into the basement through the door. So they're just trying to distract them. He remembers that there is an old coal chute down there and they go looking for it. And during this whole scene, Morgan just keeps bringing up how they forgot their tinfoil hats so that they can read their minds now, which I don't know if they can.
No.
But as soon as they bring up the coal chute, they get to the coal chute. So Graham sees that Morgan is standing near the coal chute. Suddenly, an alien hand grabs at Morgan. It's camouflage. It's great because it's completely dark and they just shine the light onto him. And he's just like standing there like, what?
Okay, what's going on?
It's like, what do you got looking for? So Meryl covers the chute with large bags of dog food, and then he puts one can on top of it. It's so good. When he looks back at his brother, he sees him distressingly cradling Morgan, who's having an asthma attack, and without his inhaler.
God, that sucked to watch.
Bo says she dreamed this. Great. Another part, whenever like there's a scuffle, they drop the flashlight and it just kind of rolls on the ground.
Yes.
And you see Bo just standing in a
I
corner.
know. It's like Blair Witch.
Yeah, it's a really like it's scary. It's a scary shot. So it's like, oh man, like what would a little girl do in that? It's like, I live here now. So, holding Morgan, Graham curses his God and his faith for letting Morgan suffer needlessly while Meryl and his daughter watch. Like, I hate you. Just whispering it in his kid's ear. So his kid's like,
I know.
it's like, what? Don't do this. Don't take
Who
him.
you talking to, Dad?
Yeah. But he's able to calm his asthma. And this whole scene, you're kind of seeing it a lot through Meryl's eyes, who's looking scared and in disbelief. They eventually decide to save the batteries on their flashlights once Morgan chills out, and they turn them off. Back to the accident where Graham's wife dies. His wife is pinned between a tree and a truck, and she's being held together by the truck. And he's like, you can go talk to her. And he's like, Caroline, is this the last time I'm going to talk to my wife? He's like, yeah. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, she's telling him straight.
Yeah. Well, it's something like, there's something about him asking that question that's super sad and devastating. Like,
yeah,
he's like, he needs confirmation. It's like he knows, but it's like, is this really it?
Yeah.
But he begins walking to her and he sees Ray on the ground. We cut back to the family. The family hides out in the basement until morning. Graham desperately coaching his son to breathe all night despite the asthma attack. They hear on the radio that a method of fighting the invaders has been developed and they are now retreating.
Yeah, maybe share that information.
Right.
Like
they should have said water.
Yeah, that's real easy.
I think it's supposed to be that they don't 100%
They don't know what
yet.
it is. Okay.
And they said that they're even leaving the wounded behind. And this is also where we hear they were there to harvest them. Meryl tells Graham that there were reports of people battling back against the invaders and that some humans had been killed when the aliens sprayed them with poisonous gas. More signs. Meryl asked him if he thought that they would make it through the night. Then Meryl says, there are a lot of things I can take and some things I can't. But what I can't take is when my older brother, who's everything that I want to be, starts losing faith in things. saw that look in your eyes last night. I don't want to ever see that look in your eyes again.
Oh, come on. Like,
it's like, dude, okay he's scared, dude. His kid was about to die.
Yeah, but it's okay to, change your face.
Yeah, I think it was just like forever in Meryl's life, Graham was always the rock, right? Like he was the one that he was the stable part of his life. And then once he kind of went off the rails, it was like, if you're not good, I'm not good anymore. So Graham decides they should all venture up from the basement because they're like, well, if we hear anything on the baby monitor, we'll stay down here. But if we don't hear anything, we'll go back up. They listen to it for 5 seconds. That's enough for me. How about you? Like, yeah. So Graham and the family head upstairs. Meryl goes up. It all seems clear. This is why I want to talk about the windows. Every time I watch this movie, when it's the shot from the basement up to where Meryl's looking around, the window has stars, moons, and stuff cut
out of the thing, the shutter, the whatever they're called.
Yeah. Did the aliens just cut that out?
No, I just thought I figured that was the first time we'd seen light shining through the windows in the house with the shutters drawn.
So like they just had. So I was thinking that they
didn't have them down before they were up, like because they roll up at the top.
So they just have like some curtains that have stars and stuff on them.
Yeah, cut out.
I was curious because I thought it was like a piece of metal, and it just was like stuff like the aliens did it or something.
No, because it's like moons and stars and stuff.
See, I just thought it was like alien, like they had a baby alien and it was just messing and like cutting things out. Yeah, I was like, it's so weird. Every time I watch it, I'm like,
I thought it was super interesting. It'd be a cool thing to do. Although it'd be super annoying and bright when you don't want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. So
maybe for one window.
They get out, they go into the living room. Bo comes in and says, people are dancing on TV. Or Bo says, people are on TV doing this. It's like, Shay, it's so funny because people are dancing on TV. She's like, yeah. So he goes to get the TV, and suddenly when he comes back in, they come face to face with an alien for the first time, and it's Grab Morgan for anyone can react.
Just came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it holds him hostage and extends like a spiny tube in his wrist, spraying the poisonous gas. Something I love. The TV reveal, because we first see it on the TV, like in the darkness of the TV. So good.
Oh, yeah. He's
the shadow,
hanging
reflection. Best part, probably shouldn't have seen the alien at all, and probably should have done the whole scene through the TV. I think it would probably been better. And also, it kind of does a close up to the fingers being cut off of the alien.
Yeah.
So it's the same one, and it's like,
sad. Or he's coming back for revenge.
It's like, okay. It's like, I'm going to stay and kill this family because I miss my fingers. It's like, dude.
And he was left behind.
Yeah, that's true. He was left behind. I don't know. I was just like, oh, that's a little too perfect that it's the same alien. Would he take a car and drive down there?
But he's had a little while to walk.
That's true. He had all night, I guess.
And they're fast.
Yeah, maybe he got picked up by. I'm sure someone let him out of the.
He hitched the ride.
I guess maybe another alien came out, let him out of the pantry, and was like,
bro,
I lost my fingers. They're like, dude, you're so dumb. It's like, you know what? We're leaving you behind.
Use your superhuman strength to break
That's why he was left. He was left behind because they're like, you seriously let one of these humans like cut your fingers off, dude? If it was water, we would have taken you. So, and
then a week.
This is So this is a part, and it's a really kind of crazy shot where you have Mel Gibson's Graham. He's in the corner of like the living room. So it's a real weird like shot because it just looks unnatural because you have Graham in the forefront and then it's a wide angle lens. So you have it's just how symmetrical it is. And then the wideness of the lens makes it look really eerie and he's staring straight at the camera. And then it's doing this flashing shot from his face to the crash and it just keeps kind of flashing. Another movie we recently did that I really liked, and I was like, oh man, I love when people do that.
That was cool.
X did it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we see the remainder of Graham's flashlight to Colleen's death is revealed. She is still coherent as she dies and tells Graham that she loves him, to look after their children, and to tell Meryl to swing away, referring to his love of baseball. Because earlier he said like everything she said meant nothing. It was just like her brain is messed up from being ran over, I guess.
She's a witch. No.
Yeah. He said like her cognitive function was severed or something, he thinks.
Yeah. It's just really, as you die, your brain lets adrenaline go and your synapses are firing.
He wasn't noticing the signs.
The signs.
It cuts back to the coincidences, the like luck and coincidences scene. And now Mel's realizing, oh man, this was all
Everything
signs.
is a sign.
Back to the present. Graham spots Meryl's trophy baseball bat on the wall and tells Meryl to swing away.
What?
Meryl calmly grabs his bat and attacks the alien, which drops Morgan. Meryl quickly realizes that water is deadly to an alien and uses all the unfinished glasses of water Bo left all over the house to defeat the alien. Signs! While Graham takes Morgan outside and administers his asthma medication.
Oh, he gives him an epinephrine or EpiPen.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Because he like stabs it into his leg.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. And then Morgan soon recovers, his asthma attack having prevented him from inhaling the alien's gas. Signs! Realizing that Colleen's dying words meant something after all. Signs! And that they're actually saved his remaining family's life. Graham's faith is restored. Signs! The final scene, which is great because he's inside the house, like second story, and it's just like a shot of them outside on the lawn, and then it slowly pans around and the colors start to change, and we see on the other window, it's all winter, and then you see Graham, he's getting ready for church or whatever, he's in his little, his preacher's
smock
costume.
I don't know.
Whatever they call it.
The cloth. And
then he notices, he hears all his kids, they're all laughing and having a good time down there. It's clerical suit. That's what it's called. And then that's it. Also, there's stars on the comforter. Signs! And that's the end of the movie, because that's Signs, baby.
Yay. That was a fun movie.
Great. Favorite M. Night movie. That or Sixth Sense, or Sixth Sense. Those are my two favorites, obviously.
I haven't made my mind up yet.
Sixth Sense is probably the better movie, but this movie's so in my wheelhouse.
Yeah, it's cool. I love alien shit.
Yeah, aliens are great.
More alien shit.
Go aliens. All right, so we're going to hit our first category, the good, the bad, the ugly, the fine. It's where we talk about the good of the film, something that we liked, the bad, something we didn't like, the ugly, something that didn't age well, the fine, something that did age well. So for the good, I don't know, just like the whole plot, the way it's shot, all the kid actors. Mel Gibson's good in it. Joaquin Phoenix, just everything
director.
came together. It's all really weird and awkward, but it all works. I don't know.
Yeah, I loved how they built so much tension all throughout the movie. It was really cool.
Yeah, the guy's really good at suspense. I mean, they called M. Night after The Sixth Sense. He was supposed to be the next Steven Spielberg.
Hell yeah.
Way too much pressure to put on people. They should have never done that. I think it really got to him eventually.
Oh, man. But there always seemed to be a pretty good payoff for all the suspense, except for that one that I didn't care for. And that was my bad.
Wait, which one? The
alien itself.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah. The bad, something that you did not like about the film. Mine was the CGI alien.
Yeah. Same.
Just wish they weren't CGI.
I thought because they were successful with things like seeing it on the roof for the first time. That was the scariest fucking shit.
Yeah, the leg in the corn where it's like, oh, now he's in the corn. Where could he be now?
He's always gone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was just
everything until they showed it, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was just a guy.
He's just some green dude. He just some damn alien. That's what they're probably just going to be. They're just going to be like, oh, you're just humanoid shaped.
Oh, you've only got one dick?
Yeah. We have 5.
Interesting.
Sex is crazy. So we'll go to the ugly, something that did not age well. I think this is pretty much the easiest one. Mel Gibson. He did not age well. He's still in Hollywood doing everything, but he said some messed up stuff. And if you haven't heard him, go online because you can easily hear them.
He needs a handler.
I did think about starting off the beginning of the podcast with just like one of his rants.
No. No.
And then like as it ends, signs. All right. So something that it did age well. What do you got?
I don't know, man. I really want more alien movies.
Yeah.
Even though just the fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
I think that always ages well.
I put M. Night. For a second there, it didn't seem like it was going to age well. Because after The Happening and After Earth, people were like, wow, no good, bad Doo-doo poo-poo.
Have you seen the series that he does, or that's on
No, I
Max?
haven't seen it. Like the
About the babysitter and
or something.
the
Yeah, it's on
baby.
Apple TV
It
Plus.
is fucking wild.
Maybe we'll watch it after Lost. Seems like another mysterious show to maybe go to.
Crazy.
Got Rupert Grint in it.
Yeah.
We watched the first 3 Harry Potter.
He's pretty funny in
Super in
that show.
He's just apparently funny in everything. He's just so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's that category. Now we're going to head over to the double feature where we pick one movie that goes well with signs. I picked the movie No One Will Save You. It's an alien movie. It has a lot of the same issues. But it's also good in different ways. It's more action-packed but the scary parts, like when the alien's in the house, is really good. Very creepy. Did you watch it?
No, I don't think so.
You haven't seen No One Will Save You?
I don't think
it's on Hulu. Go home, watch it.
Maybe
do it tonight. It's one of those movies that last year just kind of popped up where people were like, "Hey, this is a good movie," and I was like, "Okay." And I watched it. And it's like, it's got problems. Don't get me wrong. It's got problems. It's a very much like, hey, my trauma from the past is coming up, and aliens are here too. But I really do enjoy the movie. I'm gonna rewatch it this October again. What do you got?
I was thinking Independence Day.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's a good one.
Just watch some aliens blow some shit up.
I mean, essentially, M. Night was just like, I want to do an alien movie, but I want to do it the opposite of Independence Day. I want it to be a family stuck in their house.
Sure.
Which he did before War of the Worlds, which essentially had the same idea. Let's just follow a family. And
yeah,
there's no mother.
It's super interesting.
Yeah.
Watching them all panic. And
it's kind of weird.
Cry.
A lot of our movies here recently have been really connected back to each other's movies. We kind of just come up with these movies last minute, like as we're recording. So it's kind of funny that they all seem to be tied. It must be like something that I'm doing in my own head, or subconsciously I'm picking these movies. So talking about movies that we're going to pick, and we picked them last minute.
Yes, what's next week?
We've chosen Roadhouse, baby.
Roadhouse.
That's right. Our boy Patrick Swayze back in action. Jason has never seen this movie. He is going. This is a Point Break and Speed situation that's going to happen next week. He's going to love it and hate it all the same.
Oh, I cannot wait.
Dude, I cannot wait for you to hear one of the best lines in cinematic history. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. Okay. And also very uncomfortable sex scene.
Oh, no.
Oh, not like that. I just mean like, I'm like, this is an uncomfortable way to have sex.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sure. Going on marble stairs. Like in
close.
The Thomas Crown Affair.
Oh, wow. We almost picked that one too. So yeah, join us next week for that. Thank you for joining us this week, and leave us some fan mail. Go in the description wherever you're listening. If it allows you to click on the link, you can just click on the link that says send some fan mail, and you can text us some mail, or go to We Recommend Mailbag at gmail.com. If you want to follow us on social medias, go to our linktree /We Recommend Podcast. I'd like to thank Joey Prosser for his contribution to the podcast through music, because he did our intro and outro. Thank you, Joey Prosser. You can follow him on X at Mr. Joey Prosser. Is that it? Is that what I usually say? Leave us some reviews, guys. We got a couple. They're not leaving like comments, but they're rating us like 5 stars on things. I'd love to actually hear from you.
Get some feedback.
So, give us some feedback. What do you hate? It's like, wow, these guys sound ugly, or these guys sound hot. We did get one. We did get one YouTube comment after that. So yeah, join us next week for Roadhouse. Thank you for joining us. This has been the We Recommend Podcast. I'm Jesse.
I'm Jason.
I think we all just need to calm down and eat some fruit or something. Bye.